Hello and welcome everybody to another video about DUNGEONFOG. This new section is called Map Corner, and the reason behind that is I want to show you how you can create maps with DUNGEONFOG that might look like this. And I want to talk about how I was able to do this map, what was my thinking process behind that, and how I finally achieved to do things like this staircase here, or how I created this pool area, and what are my tips and tricks on how to create maps that not only look nice, but also have a center story element inside of it. So to give you a little background behind what this map is about, we are going to start a new campaign soon. So my office group is going to start a new campaign soon, and we decided to play Tomb of Annihilations. So I wanted to use this opportunity to create my own maps for our campaign, because it's going to be a heavily homebrewed campaign based on Tomb of Annihilations, but I'm going to stray afar from the core setting a lot. And one of the first maps that I encountered when I read through the book was this Merchant Prince Villa, and I really liked it. So I was thinking of, I always have been a big fan of Mike Schley and his maps, so I thought, how could I use his map as an inspiration for my own residence of the Merchant Prince here? And now I'm going to explain why I did this map the way I did it. So as you look at this map here, you realize that being the Merchant Prince means that you most likely have to deal with a lot of ambassadors and a lot of merchants and people who are requesting an audience with you. So when you have your own villa, this should be structured around this idea. And what I basically tried to do was I tried to understand how this building of power could reflect this power in the way it's architecturally structured. So basically, there is one, like, if you want to get into the circle of power of that Merchant Prince, if you want to be part of the influential people of Port Nyanzaruhaven, you need to gain an audience with the Merchant Prince, and you need to gain his trust. So the first block, the first barrier is most likely to even get an audience with him, to get access. And I structured this map around the process of getting into the building, onward to the audience, and from then on into his circle of trust, let's call it that. So basically what we have here is we have this center area that only reflects this first way of getting into the inner circle. You have the entrance area where most people most likely will not get past this threshold here. So there are guards, you enter the villa, and suddenly you're stopped and someone is saying, well, do you have an audience? Do you have an appointment? Are you allowed to enter here? And the answer will be no. So first you have to get past the receptionist, let's call him that, before you can get past these gates, and then you are like in the walkway of power. So the first thing you should experience is the wealth and the richness and the influence and the power that this Merchant Prince has. So those gates will open for you, and now you will be able to stroll along this long walkway here, have a look at this pond area, have a look at the gardens, and then you will eventually come into the statues room, and from there on into the staircase. which is well decorated. We have the stairs leading upwards to the private area of the merchant prince. Another statues, and there you go. Now you're in front of the double doors. That will then give you access to the audience room. But for now, let's focus on this area, because I want to show you in the second part of this video, I want to show you how you can create such staircases in DUNGEONFOG. All right, here you go. So what you're looking at is, this is my base template of the center staircase, and it's consisting of several rooms. We have this room for the statuettes up here, we have the hallway, and then we have two rooms, an inner and an outer room, that I use to create the staircases. Okay, so let's start from scratch, and to do so I will create a new layer so that you can always see how the original staircase looks like. And now we will start to draw our own staircase, and I'm going to guide you step by step through my approach. So we're going to need two rooms, the inner staircase, and before I do that, the outer staircase. I always start with the lowest room so that my room layering system automatically stacks them in the right order. So now we have the outer room, and I hide it so I have so I can see below, and now I'm creating the inner room. Okay, so as you see, the inner room has two circular walls, the left wall and the right wall. This wall can be hidden because it's going to be a passage. Same goes for this one. So that's basically what I did to start off. And now I'm going to bring back my other room, because I'm going to do the same with the outer, what I call the outer staircase. And as you see, we already have this approach, but we need to hide the upper wall here, or parts of the upper wall. That's why I'm going to split the walls. And here is my passage, which is still part of the outer room, so I'm going to hide that. And now it's working. For the bottom wall, we're going to have to do some additional steps, because what we want to do is we want to have those little outcroppings here. And to do so, we're going to, first of all, we're going to set it to circle so that we can see that it fits. And now let's return to the inner room, because when I changed the grid, I wanted to change the grid to make this staircase appeal a little more effective, to make it a little more visible. So by changing the grids to a smaller scale, you can now have steps in between the grids, and you can move your stairs to a better position. Same goes for the outer one. So I can move that here. Let's try it like that. Nope. Better. And here. So we can set this one to straight. And now we can create those little outcroppings here. I'm going to split the wall, and I'm going to split it again. And this is going to be a passage, so we can hide the wall here. All right. Next, I'm going to add the alcoves of my statues room up there. This is going to be pretty easy. Just hide the wall here. So we have the passage, set this one to circle, set the other one to circle. And now we're going to create this solid wall out here. To do so, I will go to the advanced mode where I can adjust the outer wall, the inner wall, and the floor texture. And in our case, what we need is we need to have those three textures to use the same base texture, which is this cracked dried stone thing. And I'm going to trace my outlines here, my wall outlines, and I'm going to use the circular wall tool again to fit the shape. Same here. And now we don't need the inner and outer shadow, the shadow and the outline of the inner wall. We just don't need them. And if we deactivate them, we're getting this effect of a solid wall that surrounds our staircase. Okay. So there you go. Now I always do the cover at the last because I always keep in mind that rooms are also stacked in a layer order. That means that every new room is above the previous room, and this has effects on how the walls are drawn. So if I want to have my solid walls to cover everything, they need to be on top of everything else. So let's just name them, then you get a better understanding. This is cover. There is another cover wall. Here we have the upper room. We have the inner staircase. And we have the outer staircase. Okay, so another important thing is, since I made my staircases separate rooms and I just used the kind of visual approach to combine them, they are treated as rooms, and that means that if I place something inside this room, it will get cut off by the other rooms. And I can use this because now that I place this stair here, it's going to be covered by the inner staircase. And so by this, I now have quickly created the effect of a stair that is leading upwards with a center area that is not affected by the staircase, which in other words cuts my prop. All right. So that's basically it. That's what I needed to do. I could now take my inner staircase and adjust the wall to make it thinner, to make it in a different color. I can do the micro adjustments now. But for now, I think this is a great way to show how we did that. So thank you for watching and happy map making.